This is Retirement News Online. Education is changing fast, and so are the retirement systems teachers rely on. From Social Security offsets to healthcare costs, longevity risk, there's a lot to manage. Now today we're talking with a financial advisor who helps teachers turn uncertainty into strategy and retire on their own terms, actually turning retirement hoping into retirement planning. Yeah. He's a former teacher himself, Andrew Kerper with Teacher Prep. So, what should teachers know about some of the other things that go along with retirement? We've been talking at length about pensions, about income, but now the things that can kind of affect it. Healthcare costs, after you get out of that. Taxes, right? Those are things that we haven't talked about, we need to think about. Talk about that.
So the biggest thing is that you got to think about retirement as a package. I want you to think about it like an Amazon box. You get the Amazon, I take my thumb and I rip the tape down, I open it up, and then there's all this stuff. And my wife ordered something, we ordered something for my daughter, and then my golf clubs are there and everything like that. But you have to unpack it. And there's just so many things, like you said, taxes, healthcare changes, reform, etc. And they all just start coming out of the box, just like how Amazon boxes just show up at your house. Is that just
yes.
me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's my job to unpack and remain emotionless about all of these factors and making sure we can take the package, put it back, tape it back up, bring it to the store so it can be sent back because we are sending it later.
Mm-hmm. And that makes sense. You mentioned the word emotionally, right? So most people cannot manage their own finances, their own investments unemotionally. And that can cause problems. One example recently, just outside of just any kind of an investor, we saw the market back in April dump 3,000 points in one morning. And what we saw was a lot of people knee-jerk pull out of the market, miss the rebound that came very quickly after all the tariff stuff settled down. Right. So somebody like you, when you're talking to a teacher, policy changes, all that other stuff, there would be a tendency to kind of just immediately knee-jerk. But what you're talking about is, talk to me, let's look at the data, let's look at what's likely going to happen, and let's manage it around your unique situation.
Yeah, and something that we've always implemented at Teacher Prep, and whether you talk to my dad or anyone like that, I always want to be your calm in the storm. That's what I want to be. Now listen, you're talking to me now, I'm a pretty, obviously an introvert, obviously, as you can see, right? But you notice that I just try to be that guy that when people call me and they start freaking out and they start saying, oh my gosh, the market did this and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, it's okay. I know it sucks. It's going to suck for a second. It's okay. Let's see if it rebounds. Let's adjust. Let's re-diversify. Let's see if there's anything we can do on our end to make sure we're comfortable. What happens is that when there are people who have assets like through a 403B or something, and they call whoever they're with, and they say, the market's doing crazy, horrible things. Can you put everything in a guaranteed investment? Or I want everything just to remain as low risk as possible. So what are they not getting? Mm-hmm. They're not getting when it comes back up.
Right.
And then 20 years, when they're talking to their colleagues, because they're always going to talk to their colleagues, and that's fine, they're going to say, I have this much in my account. And then their colleagues are going to say, how's that possible? We've been working the same amount of time. When all those things came out in March and then the pandemic and I diversified everything to make, that's emotional, right? And then they're like, it came back. My job is to say, it's okay, let's diversify properly, make sure we are setting ourselves up for the future.
And I suppose that also relates to timing too. So if you're 30 years old, whatever the market does doesn't really matter because you've got so much time. You're about to enter retirement a year. There might be some reason, to make a change that's drastic. So then, again, you're an emotional counselor, you're a therapist, you're a teacher yourself. But, with teachers who want to retire with both the financial confidence and the emotional confidence at the same time, because there's always uncertainty. How do you manage that?
So I always try to compare this to obviously teaching or anything like that, but let's say you were in my classroom. You're in the classroom, there was an assignment that you missed. You notice on your student view or your grades that You have a B in my class, which, by the way, when I was teaching, to get a B in my class was like really hard, but because it was just, you have to try. And but let's say you're freaking out. Oh my gosh, Mr. Kerper, I didn't do this, and now I'm going to get a B and blah blah blah. It's just, hey, I'm glad you're here. Why don't we talk about how we can make sure and bring this calm? And then what happens is that student would leave my office or leave my classroom feeling a heck of a way better than they did when they came in because they were all stressed. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing when a teacher comes into my office. They come in and they're nervous. We have to remember this as advisors, is that they come into our office thinking they are about to be judged. Mm-hmm. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to decipher, unpack all those things we're talking about. But my job is to just be calm, educate, and make sure you understand all of these benefits so that when you leave my office, you feel a heck of a way better than the way you walked in. You won't feel judged, you won't feel as emotional, and you'll feel taken care of because I understand.
You were a teacher. Now, you can see how calm he is. He taught middle school for a decade. I don't know how you do that. And
it was awesome. It was fun.
I bet it was. Calm through all that, as a matter of fact. He's Andrew Kerper with Teacher Prep, America's Tax and Financial Specialist. You can look him up in the Virginia area. What are the other places? You're Maryland? Whatever.
Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, New York, anywhere of the sort.
And you can't find somebody better able to help you because he comes from the teacher ranks himself. This is Retirement News Online. Thanks for watching.